Sure, this is a topic everybody's interested in. As you're aware,
You're losing your crowd, but
They're not all interested in what they're leaving.
okay, not everybody's interested in it. So anyway, tonight we have a bid award request for you for the downtown restroom project. We went out to bid, had 5 qualified bidders, and anyway, it came in a little ahead or a little above what we had anticipated, and so I'm going to show you a little slideshow here and then ask for a decision. Just to show you where we're at with the budget at the moment, the project was originally estimated at $157,710. We had $170 budgeted, $170,000 budgeted for this. Since then, as part of the bid prep, we have spent $1,250 of that, leaving $168,750. So that's where we're at. Then through the bids, you can see here, and this was in your packet, the lowest qualified bid was $191,600. The highest one being $237,000, but you can see the group of the top 4 fairly tight. So we do believe that this was a good bid. At the Public Works Finance Committee, a lot of questions and needing for a little more detail on some of the other expenditures that are taking place, so you have a really good picture of everything. The design cost for this was $13,070. We estimated the water line to the site to be it'll be an in-house project to be about $5,000. The bid prep that we talked about was $1,250, and that total there was about $19,320. If you get down to the project, what's left, of course, the construction of the facility with the qualified bid with quality contractors was $191,600. Contract construction administration at $8,550, and we had a contingency of $8,000 in there, and that subtotal is $208,150, which overall you can see on the slide there, $227,470 if you're looking at the entire project. We had well, what we're asking for tonight is awarding the contract to quality contractors in the amount of $191,600. The authorization to contract with Design West for construction and administration for the $8,550, and also included in the funding would be $8,000 for contingency. That left us with a $39,400 shortfall. We've identified some possible additional funding. Part of that is a rebate with the URA, the Alturas URA, that when that closed, and also a possibility of participation by the URA. Mr. Belknap will be speaking to the URA this Thursday, so we do not have that answer yet. With those two, that would be $40,000, which would bring us right there close to the amount of the $208,150. And so in a nutshell, that's where we're at tonight. And I do have some additional information just for some tidbits if you need it, because there were some other possibilities discussed, but for the agenda tonight, this is what we have for you.
well, and I'll remind council what we've got here is we've got bids for a downtown restroom, and that's what you're going to make a determination one way or the other on that. That has nothing to do with any other design or any other structures that we're talking about. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for discussion.
Mayor,
Art,
I'll go again.
I'll come.
Wade into another one.
This was before Public Works and Finance on March
It
28th.
was, and hence all of the discussion to which Dwight was referring. and some of the subsequent provision of more detail. But for sure, Moscow needs a public bathroom. Lots of other little communities have them. Garfield has one. Heck, even Colotis has public bathrooms. And the problem is the costs came in much higher than anticipated, but in a group. And should the bids be rejected, I'm not sure that if when rebid we'll see anything come through any lower than what has been presented to us already. So what we're stuck with is trying to find some makeup funding that is not in the budget and hasn't already been committed, and that's proposed via the URA, which we would have to wait and see whether the URA is willing to step up and assist. But right now we've got other civic community members, NSA among others, providing the use of their facilities for downtown events, and that could go away tomorrow. And then what happens? Now we've got inconvenience, a bad public reputation for the city, and potential for health concerns as well. So I'm not sure that anything can be done with this notoriously high cost of this project, but getting a properly built building that's going to last time and has been approved by the Historic Preservation Commission is meeting the design standards of downtown, I think necessitates going forward with it and just choking it down. And if the URA can participate, going ahead with the project, pull the trigger, and just getting the thing done and getting our promise to the city being one of the council's major goals accomplished and taken care of.
Somebody down here, I don't, John, was that you? Dan?
I didn't like this at 156,000. I voted against it at 170,000, so you know which way I'm going to go at 200 and whatever. And the reason, I have no problem with a downtown restroom that is put in by the city. I just have a problem with the amount of money that we seem to be wanting to throw at a problem. And consequently, we have not looked, as this body, at all of the other options, and we seem to be hung up on making this bathroom look like the two buildings that are around it. I disagree with that. I think it's going to be a restroom if we build it, and I think that if it is a restroom, it'll be easily identified as one regardless of what sort of a facade we put on it and regardless of what sort of a roof that we put on it. I remember when the price was $170,000, there was concern that the roof on a one-story bathroom looked like the roof on the 2- and 3-story buildings that surround it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then as far as the facade of the building, it's too much, in my opinion. We're spending more money. We've got roads to worry about. We've got streets to worry about. And if we're going to be spending $225,000 on a bathroom, I don't think that it says very much for our fiduciary responsibility to the citizens here as to what is going to happen with the money that they pay us in taxes. So I have to, I'm going to vote no.
Dan?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that, you know, we do have public restrooms. There are some all over town. There just doesn't happen to be one down on Main Street right now. And that's why, you know, Colotis, you know, they only have Main Street, so it's kind of obvious where you're going to put it. I am pretty upset, though, that this estimate was so far off. Dwight, I think back to East City Park, what did we pay for that one? It's $178,000. I mean, I realize it's 3-4 years ago, but
It was 167 for the facility, plus you had the design.
Right.
So I think
And-
184 total.
Okay. Still cheaper than this, and it's bigger, and that really bothered me a lot too. I do appreciate and would like to see something that does fit, you know, with a facade that matches downtown, you know. But is it worth that much? I don't like that we've sunk money into it already. It's not as much as I thought it was, but it's still some. I do want to see restrooms downtown. I just find this one a hard one to take a bite of here.
Walter?
Dwight, a question on the slide you just put back up. Is the sewer line cost part of the contractor's 191,000, or is that additional? I know the sewer is right adjacent, but somebody's got to tie into it.
It's part of the project.
It's part of the 191?
Yes.
Okay. I want a downtown public restroom as bad as anybody. I think we need one. I even disagree with John Weber a little bit regarding the fact that we're doing this. I believe John's position is at least 50% for farmers market. I think one needs to be down there. I am just totally thankful to NSA for the years that they have made their restroom in the back of their building available for the farmers market time. It's cost them dollars out of their pocket, because I've gone in there at the end of market and have seen the mess that somebody's got to clean up. So I'm really grateful to them, and the police department opens up their front lobby restrooms, which are not handicapped accessible, but they are down there for the people that know about it. But I think we need a public restroom. I just, again, in what somebody said it, in a sense of council fiduciary responsibility to the citizens, cannot spend $416 a square foot based upon the $208,000 number that Dwight's put up there. $416 a square foot for this thing if you count the wing walls that create the privacy to the doors. If you just do the building itself, it goes to $615 a square foot. I've been told the Hope Center, which is different construction but still commercial, is being built for under $100 a square foot. My memory is that the LLC on the University of Idaho campus 15 years ago was built for $150 a square foot. Different time, different bids. I get it. If I may, the grouping of the bids tells me the price that we've gotten is the price to build that particular design now. I think a better bidding climate, that is when contractors are hungrier, would help the prices some. But I believe that we're chasing a building that we don't have to have. I think there are modular buildings out there that Dwight has found that can look like they're brick from any distance from 5 feet to 50 feet away or 500 feet away, that they might be able to be gotten with either flat or shed roofs. And I would like to, in the end, pursue something like that to see if we can get closer to the budget that we have to build this. Dwight, I try very hard, and I don't think I very often argue with department heads. I may argue with their boss sometimes, but I don't consider 121% of estimate a little more, or 122% over our budget a little more. I think it's fairly significant, and I am prepared to vote no on this proposal.
Hey, Catherine, we've got two counselors that haven't spoke. I'd like to hear yours.
Well, I spoke at the Public Works. I think when we had Kathleen Burns present, that was informative. And then we've also been told how many other events happen in the downtown area. People have talked about, taking their kids, and we have people with disabilities that are their facilities are downtown. We have a lot of people downtown. I think there's more to this than that. I think there's a long-term thinking about this. This was a council goal by these minutes from 2014.
Actually, I think
Or before.
13,
Or before.
12 or 13.
And I think that You have definitely thought all about it. I think the commissions have told you what their thoughts are. I'm going to vote for it.
Jim?
I'm very much in favor of the project. I very much want to see that built downtown, but I'm very much troubled by the fact that we're 33% or something like that over the original estimate of, and I just think that Dwight and his staff are more competent in coming up with an estimate of what the project should have cost. I think that was what they came up with, is the cost estimate, and I don't think they're that far off. So the fact that the bids came in that side bothers me, and I think if it's going to have to be that much, if things have changed that much since that estimate was created, then we need to go back and do something to the design of the project to make it more economical. I'll agree with John and Walter that I think we do have a fiduciary responsibility to not overspend on amenities. And this, it's not a necessity. We've got along with it since 1890 or whatever. And we could probably do it another year until we figure out a way to do it within what we've budgeted. And if at some point we determine that the budget has to be more, well, then we'll have to come up with the money somehow. But tonight, I'm going to have to vote no on it based on what I know about the situation.
John?
Well, I would then make a motion that we turn down all of the bids and start from ground zero.
Okay, we got a motion by John and a second by Jim to disqualify all bids and start over, right?
Start with Walter.
I believe it's reject. If I'm-
Reject it.
Yeah. Aye.
No.
No?
Aye.
Okay, well, then it fails.